Good morning. It is such a great day to have synchronicity. I am so excited to have our next guest with us. Before we jump in, we are sipping on tea therapy, ginger and turmeric, which is amazing. So make sure you click the link in bio so that you too can indulge in some of this wonderful tea. So our conversation today is with Miss Keyana, who is the founder of Hikeology. Good morning, Keyana. Thank
Good
you for
morning.
joining us today. How are you?
Good morning. And I just want to say, although I love Hikeology, it's Hikeolution.
Hikeolution. You know what? And I've been correcting myself with that since I talked to you. I think psychology and all of
There you
that.
go. That's why I said I loved it. I loved it. And another one that we get all the time is Hikealicious.
I'm
So
straight.
Hikealicious, Hikeology, it's all good. But we are Hikeolution. And I'll be able to explain a little bit about the name too, so it can help stick.
Yes, definitely. So tell us all about it. Jump in.
Okay. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here sipping on that tea. I love it. Ginger turmeric, one of my favorites. So I am here today to talk about Hikeolution, which was officially launched in January 2017. But unofficially, I've been doing this since April 2015, leading group hikes and getting people outdoors. So the mission of Hikeolution is to bring people together, just fellowship, socialize, and do it out on the trails. So my first group setting for a hike was for my birthday. I decided to do a birthday hike in 2015. And that's how I got people together. They wanted to come out and celebrate my birthday, and they didn't hike. Hiking wasn't their thing. So the fact that I was able to pair it with a social activity, that is what brought the crowd. So eventually, that's how Hikeolution grew. And I said, you know what? Every time I'm going out asking people, hey, you want to go for a hike? Hey, guess what? I was hiking last weekend. They looking at me like I got two heads. They're not, interested. So I said, how can I kind of trick people to get out? So
Yeah.
that's really how Hikeolution began. We started doing a lot of themed hikes. And I thought that pairing hiking with the activity or with a specific theme, it really got people engaged. So let me tell you a little bit about the name. So after we had been doing the hikes for the 2 years, 2015, 2016, I put out a call to the folks that I had been hiking with. And I said, hey, I'm going to launch a business. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, really, really get going with this. Give me some ideas for some names. So we had a brother that I knew from the Urban League. He said Hikeolution. He actually said the Hikeolution will not be televised. And
I love
I
it.
love that. Just the whole theme, because of course, well, not of course, because you don't know me yet, but I am very, very pro-Black,
Yes.
Afrocentric, got the fist up. So, and he knew that about me. So he felt like what I was doing was very revolutionary, getting Black people out on the trails and bringing that energy to the forefront. Because it's not like Black people weren't hiking. I'm not the first to hike. Of course, there were Black people hiking. However, to actually organize us and get us in the same space and introduce it and really push it where we were in New Jersey, Essex County, no one was really doing that. So he said I was revolutionary in that regard. So I took his suggestion and I said Hikeolution. And then as I was doing my mission statement and really getting the business plan solidified, that's when I added what the tenets of Hikeolution would be. So that's solution, evolution, revolution, and all three of those embody Hikeolution. So the solution aspect is, of course, hiking is a fitness activity. If you're looking for something physical, if you like to go to the gym, you like to bike ride, you like to do all, you're a very physically active person, hiking is a physical activity. So you can get a solution to your fitness goals by learning to take hikes, by going out on hikes. That's one part. Now, my favorite part, evolution, which is what really got me into hiking, is what it does for your psyche, what it does for your mental health, what it does for just your overall mood. That's the part of Hikeolution that I love the most, which is how hiking and being outdoors aids your journey on your personal evolution. How, the things you're doing to become your highest self on a day-to-day basis. That's what hiking became to me. Once I took my first hike back in 2014, I had to go back out. I needed to. I couldn't just exist in the real world without it anymore because of how I felt after a hike. I said, I need this. It became my therapy. I prescribed hiking for myself. So that's the evolution piece. And then the revolution, which of course everyone can see, which is Hikeolution is doing its part as one organization, one business that lets the world know that, yeah, Black people hike, we do that, you know, we do all that. And it's one of many. So at the time that I started hiking, I didn't know of any hiking groups that were Black or centered around people of color. But once I got in the community, then I found my tribe. I found so many. So Hikeolution is just one of many, and I like to share about other groups. So that's the revolution piece, and all of that encompasses Hikeolution.
Oh, I love it. The Hikeolution will not be televised. That is amazing. I am just in love with that mission statement and just the 3 pillars that your organization encompasses. So really good stuff. So tell us more about how hiking can support your holistic well-being. What did it do for you, and what have you seen it doing for others?
Yes, I get so excited when I talk about this because I've always been a person that has been working on my highest self. I love, I read a lot of books. You know, I'm always doing things to better myself. I go to workshops. I get coaches. I do all that stuff. I meditate. I do yoga, all these things. And yet, prior to 2014, which is when I took my first hike, and doing all those things, it still didn't stop all the chatter, stop all the stress, stop all the noise, stop all that ripping and running that I was doing. And when I got invited out on a hike, it was actually by someone that I had just started seeing in a romantic way. It was our 3rd date. So he was very new, and he invited me out on a hike. And I did look at him a little sideways because I was like, that's kind of odd. Like, people don't go on hike dates. Now I recommend them. Would love, I definitely recommend hike dates. But he took me out, and we spent about 4 hours out in the woods.
Wow.
And when I tell you those 4 hours, I didn't think about anything outside of the hike. And that had never happened to me before. So even though I was interested in meditating, even though I had done that, it never stopped the noise. I would sit in meditation and think about 50 million things, my shopping list, maybe being hungry, just all types of stuff. If I'm doing it right, just all types of things. I never really was able to take that pause that we need. We need time to rest and pause and relax. And only spending time in nature is what did it for me immediately. The other modems that, we use, it was very challenging at that time because I never really stopped moving. My life was just busy. I never really stopped moving. So when I came back from that first hike and got back to the car, I was in awe of how I felt. I said, wow, I'm like so clear and calm and like I was just at peace. And I was like, well, that was weird, but I liked it. And then I thought, hey, maybe it was a fluke. Then we did it again, went on more hikes. And every single time, that is my experience. And I said, hey, this hiking thing is pretty darn cool. So that's why I really wanted to share it. That's why I was so enthusiastic about going out and telling people like, hey, I went on a hike last weekend. Let me tell you how I felt. And them looking at me like I was crazy and saying, no, it's hard to explain. Please come, please join me. Please check this out for yourself. So it was a hard sell, because people just didn't believe it. But once they did come out, they're like, you know what? It is nice that I took this time out for myself. So immediately people feel well rested. They feel invigorated. They have such a clear mind. They just feel their mood is boosted. If they came to the hike and they had stuff going on, they might have been in a funky mood. That walk and hearing the birds and feeling the wind and feeling the sun and hearing the water, if you happen to be hiking near a stream or something, all of these things that nature provides just miraculously makes you feel better at the end. And this has happened time and time again. So I stand by it. It's tried and true. And I will continue to use nature as my tool to de-stress and to really help keep everything inside from taking over. Because, I suffer from panic attacks and anxiety at times. I'm an overthinker. You know, most of us are. We all pretty much check those boxes off because even society pushes people to be that, because we're always doing, running. And you have to accomplish this and that. You know, you're a go-getter, you're confident, this is what you do. So I fell victim to that, early in life, especially in your 20s when you're fresh out of college and you're like, okay, I got to go change the world.
Oh, I
So
remember.
yeah, so 20 years ago, I was running and running fast and not really taking time out for me. So when I go out for hikes and encourage others to go out on hikes, I'm telling them in these 2 or 3 hours, this is your time. This is your time to breathe, because you may not really be breathing. And I had a terrible time with breathing. It's hard to explain, but I guess for people that have panic attacks, it's not hard to explain. But breathing is involuntary. You don't think about doing it, but there would be some moments that it would seem like it got off track of the involuntary, and I had to tell myself to breathe. And then, of course, now you start panicking, saying, well, if I stop doing this, do I die? Like, is it going to keep up? So I just had all this heaviness happening because I was just so anxious and just overthinking and not really taking the time out for myself. And hiking healed that. And so that's what I offer to others, so that they can, if they've struggled like me to really find that thing that catches, perhaps hiking is it, and spending time outdoors.
I love your story. Thank you for sharing it. And I also love the simplicity of it, right? You didn't come in with, I had to take a Zyprexa, I had to take a Paxil, I had to go on a shopping spree, I had to paint my house, I had to find my lover, I had to find my brother. None of that. You said I had to go spend some time with myself in nature and just breathe, right?
But you know what? The reason why I can say that is because all that other stuff that you mentioned, just like Solange told us, it didn't work.
Did not
you couldn't sex it away. You couldn't shop it away. You couldn't do anything. I did do all that stuff. Yeah. It didn't work. So, and like I said, when I got invited on the hike, it's not like I went there expecting it to be the thing that saved me. But after it happened, I said, this is it. So yeah, so I had the experience of doing all the things that you said, and it didn't work.
And one of the things that you just said, you hear that, clients? No expectations. You went into hiking with no expectations. You just kind of went with it. You showed up for it, and it was life-changing. That's amazing. Yeah. That is so amazing. Tell us a little bit about the overall mission. What is the mission of Hikeolution?
So I'm glad that actually what you just said is a great segue into our mission, because Hikeolution really speaks to the non-hikers, to the beginners. Because when people think about hiking, if they've never done it, they're like, well, I don't hike and I don't know how to do that. Even though it's literally just walking, like you just go for a walk in the woods. If you can go for a walk, then you have all you need to be a hiker. But unfortunately, the way society and the way the outdoors industry has been for, over 100 years, maybe more than that, of course, but I just know certain groups like the Appalachian Mountain Club, they've been in existence for about 115 years. So groups like that make it seem like you do need to go on a shopping spree to get gear, all this stuff. And then you have to go climb a mountain. You need a harness. It's crazy what people imagine when they think about hiking. If they close their eyes and think about a hike, they're going to see people on the edge of a mountain. They're going to see people doing all, and it's like, it could be that. I'm not saying that you can't go to Colorado or Arizona or California and do that. You can do that, but that's not what I'm doing on a regular basis here in New Jersey. And it's not a requirement. So Hikeolution's mission is to show people, like you said, the simplicity, how to get outdoors with little to no fuss, so that you can make this a lifestyle. Because we all know from any type of thing that you're trying to change, if you don't make it practical in your life, how you can add it and be consistent with it, you're not going to do it. So so here's one prime example. Where I hike now at South Mountain Reservation, that's where Hikeolution was born, and that's where we go most often. Yes, we do go on some road trips other places. However, if those road trips are taking me an hour and a half out, how practical is it that I'm going to do that weekly? Right. That's gas, that car. That's so many things. That's getting up early. You know what I'm saying? But if I can just go 15 to 20 minutes out to this reservation that's pretty much in my backyard, that is something that I can do as often as possible. So I don't want people to come in and have those expectations of it needs to be what I thought hiking is. Take all that away. We're going to come together as a group and we're going to take this walk in nature and we're just going to have a good time. You know, and maybe, and you know what, maybe we won't have that Instagram worthy picture of a cliff. There might not be that on this nature walk. It might not be that because we're immersed more in the trees, but you still get the benefits whether you're at the highest peak or whether you've walked on flat ground through the trees, because nature is out there. It's the same sun, the same wind, you know, the same ground underneath your feet. So yes, Hikeolution's mission is to take out those grandiose notions of what the outdoors looks like, what hiking is, and for you to pick it up and say what it is for yourself and for your families, because we're really committed to getting people out earlier. I discovered hiking a little late in life. I have a 2-year-old now. She has an older brother too. I have a 22-year-old son, but with my 2-year-old, she was born on the hiking trail. I was hiking while I was pregnant. When she was 4 weeks, she came out hiking. So just trying to reach a younger generation and letting the people that I hike with know you don't have to wait till your child is a certain age. You don't have to wait till they like hiking. You don't have to wait till they're interested. Expose them to nature now.
Yeah,
so
and
that's our mission.
Yeah, I love it. Good mission. And it takes the taboo out of it, right? And it normalizes hiking and walking and being out in nature, which is for our community, it's kind of like we don't do that. It normalizes this. Yeah. So that is really, really amazing. So talk to us a little bit about what is a therapy walk and how is that helpful?
Yes. So I started with group hikes. That's what I was doing. Group hikes, getting people out like 10 plus. But then I started, and then while we're doing that, we're always walking and talking. Like I said, we started off with themed hikes. So I would put out a theme. A lot of times we talked about relationships because that needs healing, you know, in our communities. So people were eager to talk about relationships. But then when the groups got smaller, maybe it was just me and another person, so one-on-one, or maybe it was me and maybe 2 or 3 people, I realized how therapeutic it could be because now people were able to share more and unload and maybe say more of their personal life, things that were happening, especially when I was one-on-one with folks. So that's when I started introducing the one-on-one hike therapy, and I have to use air quotations for therapy. And it's funny because I actually broke up therapy with the words the, rap, Y, the letter Y. So, you know, in slang, to rap is to talk, you know, to converse with someone. So it's the rap Y. It's talking that leads you to the why of the problem. So that's what the kind of therapy that we do. We're letting people talk it out and letting nature be that great equalizer of making you feel comfortable. Because I mean, it's not like I am walking up to people and saying, tell me about your deepest, darkest fears. Tell me what's going on with you. No, I don't say that. However, I notice time and time again that when you're out there and the conversations flow, the ease of nature makes people just want to share. And so I just wanted to offer that space to people. I've taken people out one-on-one many times if they were having, you know, some issue. We've cried out there. I've cried out there with other people. One-on-one that wanted to just unload. And so I just felt like I needed to bring that and show people that this is a space where you can leave it. I'm actually working on a fiction book of short stories that talks about some of these experiences. And it's fiction because I want to take the real stories and then be able to embellish them the way I want to. That's why it's fiction. But nature is great for that, for you to take your stories out there and to leave them there, to hug a tree, to cry, to let your tears fall into the soil and to leave whatever problem you have there.
Yes, really good. Oh my, and I love the rap Y.
The rap Y. Yeah.
That is awesome. I love that. Definitely love that. So what kind of outcomes have you been able to see from hiking with other people? What are some things that you've seen that you would like to share?
So in my personal life, it's helped me become a better listener. Because again, if I'm leading folks out and they're now sharing their stories with me, their situations. I had to learn to be a listener because I'm a talker. I rarely listened. I used to just dominate the conversation, cut people off. So hiking helped still me and make me quiet and help me learn to listen. And then with other people, they may not have been talkers. Like they might have had the opposite issue. They were shy. They didn't, talk. But now they come out in these groups, either small groups or even the large group, and they feel like they found a tribe. We talk about our hiking tribe all the time. And while we're out there, we bond with each other. I'm always looking for opportunities to network, to share. I'm always inviting folks to talk about what they do, their work, whether it's their professional work or their hobbies, like what they don't do professionally, but what their interests are, because you never know who you're meeting. And week after week out on the trail, there may be a different group. When I first started in 2015 and 2016, it was like the same core 10 people. But now that we've expanded, the membership is over 1,600. It can be anybody on the trail. So I may not know the people when I go out. I meet them for the first time. So to have that, like I said, to have nature really put us at ease, it helps close the distance between strangers. I don't feel like anyone I'm hiking with is a stranger, even if I literally met them that morning. And I'm a hugger. So at the end of the hike, I hug them, and it's just that exchange of energy that I give to them. I'm giving my positive vibes to them, and everyone that I've encountered on the trail, they're very positive as well. So just that exchange. And so it's been very, very therapeutic for folks. Everyone. So one other thing that I do is opening circles and closing circles. So in the opening circle, we pretty much introduce ourselves, just our name, whether they've hiked before. And then I let them know what we're going to experience, maybe how long it's going to be, 5 miles, blah, blah, blah. But then the closing circle is my favorite part, because that gives people a chance to share what they're feeling at the end of the hike. And I want them to share how they felt before and how they felt now. And they always say that it's such a difference on how they feel afterwards. And so that's like the testimonials. I'm getting these testimonials in real time to really show me what the benefits of hiking are. Everyone is just so happy that they came out that morning.
I'm hearing such positive things. I'm hearing closeness. I'm hearing being open with each other. I'm hearing being one in nature, slowing down thoughts, reducing anxiety, so many different things, benefits that I'm hearing as far as hiking and your organization. Talk to me why you would say that this is important, especially for the Black and Brown community.
Yes, I think it's very important for the Black and Brown community because it's been, I'm going to try to choose my words very carefully. I told you I'm militant, but I'm going to try to, I don't know what your audience is like. I'm not trying to offend anyone. However, there's so many things in our culture that have been hijacked. There's so many things that have been taken from us and then represented, and then it looks so foreign to us, and so we don't pick it up again. So things like swimming, hiking, biking, as a matter of fact, I don't even have to name them, because anything that they want to, that the powers that be or society wants to make us think we don't do. And it's things that we have always done. So when I'm helping people connect with nature, I'm not teaching them about nature. I'm reconnecting them to nature, because we've always, as Black and Brown people, been connected to nature. Nature, the lands, we work the lands, so it's like, who is more connected to nature than us? So our blood, sweat, and tears are in the soil, our ancestors, a connection. So that's why you don't even have to walk, just to even step foot into a reservation or into a wooded area, and to just sit for a moment and acknowledge where these lands were, the people that the lands were stolen from, because the people that own these reservations now, and how can you own earth? Like, that really still just baffles me, how we literally own earth and land and how we have to pay for this stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get off too far off subject, but just to have reverence for those who came before us. How much more connected can we be to our ancestors than through nature? This is how they speak to us, and trees and everything. out in nature is living and breathing, maybe not breathing like per se with lungs, but it's alive. A tree is alive. A flower is alive. The insects, the animals, they're alive just like us. So just having that reverence for all nature, the human domain, the plant domain, the animal domain, the mineral domain, and then our higher than us humans is the spiritual domain. And the spiritual domain is how we connect to our ancestors. So I'm just always in awe of the people that came before us. And then to think about someone like Harriet Tubman, she's someone that people like Girl Trek have really given a lot of homage to as we walk, because we can now that we're walking here in this present time for leisure, might I add, we're walking for leisure. We're choosing on a Saturday morning to go for a walk. But just imagine hundreds of years ago how Harriet didn't choose for leisure, but went out in the woods to travel miles by foot for freedom. So just things like that, you're just in awe. We're just in awe of those who came before us. So that's one part. But the second piece is the constant oppression that we have here in this country, especially the hashtags, the videos that we're sharing. All these things take such a toll on our psyche that if we are not unplugging from the news, which I definitely don't watch the news, but if we're not unplugging from our devices, from the social media, from all these things, and even negative talk, you go to the water cooler at work and the coworkers are talking about things, because even if I'm not watching the news or watching the videos that get posted, if I'm sitting on a bus and they're talking about it, it's still getting in. If I'm going to work and they're talking about it, if I'm going to my family's house and they're talking about it. So we have all of this negativity coming at us as Black and brown people. It's what we see in our communities, what the trauma that we have in our families, or the trauma that we have collectively, all of us being bonded. We need to find tools that help us to go on, because our resiliency is all we have. Like the fact that we could just keep going and going is something to be applauded, but at the same time, how? It's not resiliency just because. No, our ancestors were resilient because they knew how to pour back into themselves, and they went to nature and they used their spirituality to get them there to that point of being able to see the horrors of everything that's happening and still have joy in the morning. So hiking and being outdoors is how I keep my joy and how I'm able to restore myself so that I can go on to deal with what life is throwing at me. Because the way like I said, the way I was dealing with life beforehand, I thought I was keeping a good handle on it. It seemed like it was okay until I felt what a reset felt like. When I went out on a hike and I got cleared out and I went back to baseline. Now, when I went out in the real world and I went to work, now I can feel stress starting. And I'm like, whoa, I don't like it. But because we're still immersed in stress on a regular basis and negativity, we've just ignored the warning signals. So our threshold is so high for it that it just seems normal. So that's why going out into nature and resetting, now you're able to go out and feel this isn't normal. This isn't okay. Watching all this trauma day to day isn't what I should be doing. So it just helps balance everything and get you back to your homeostasis of where to start. So our community needs tools for healing. And I'm a firm believer that spending time outdoors is what we need, especially in the urban communities. It might be a concrete jungle. There may not be a lot of green spaces, and all that asphalt, all that brick on brick, that sun hitting it, the heat rising up, it creates beings that are more angry anyway. That's nature, that's science, So to take your shoes off and to stand in some grass, to take your shoes off and to stand on some soil. Now you're going to take all that negativity and all that really intense energy, send it into the ground and let the ground give you back something that's more calm and nurturing. We need that in our communities. Our children need that.
You just gave me chill bumps. Chill bumps. Okay. Oh my goodness. I was ready to stand up and say, preach.
Thank you.
Definitely. Just really, really touched my soul with all of that. And just to piggyback off of what you were saying, that we have to be really responsible and safeguard our emotional and mental health by what we absorb. And so you just really hit the nail on the head when you talked about social media and the news and just all of this negativity that we have at our fingertips, and taking a moment to just unplug from all of it, to step away I'm not a part of, what is it, generation whatever is after Z. I'm not a part of that. So I remember a time where when we weren't inundated with all of this information at one time, and it's just negative. And just in my practice, I just see so many individuals with low self-esteem and high anxiety and low self-worth. And I believe it's a direct correlation from just being plugged into everything all the time. So I
Absolutely.
just a mission of just unplugging. And Stephanie, you're not missing nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take some time to unplug and walk in the grass and walk in the forest and walk a trail and just get more in tune with yourself. So I love everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
So to get back, how could we support your mission? How could a person support Hikeolution?
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate all types of support. We are based in northern New Jersey, so if there's anyone that's in the area or has an ability to travel to the area easily, like I said, I don't want this to be a 2-hour thing because that's not practical. It's okay to do it every once in a while, but we want you to find ways to get outdoors on a consistent basis. But if you happen to be in the northern New Jersey area, check us out. Come to some of our hikes. We do lots of public hikes open to everyone. We partner with organizations, so we lead hikes for groups. So schools, we lead hikes for organizations, women's groups. I actually lead hikes also for a women's ministry group. They've taken their Bible studies outside. So just like how I started with my birthday hike, anything that you want to do, take it outside and walk and talk with it. We've done a lot of couples hikes. We do children's hikes. We do so many types of hikes. So if you want to connect with us, you can find us on Meetup. We're on Instagram as well. If you want to slide in a DM, to find us and get our calendar. But the calendar is housed right now on meetup.com, www.meetup.com/Hikeolution. So just supporting us in that way by coming out. And also our bread and butter, the thing that we charge for are the private hikes. So all those that want to have us lead a group for them and their friends and family, or individual one-on-one for that hike therapy we were talking about, that would come at a cost. But like I said, outside of Hikeolution, the Revoloution, we encourage you to find a group where you live, get out hiking and just take our mission and run with it. You don't have to only hike with Hikeolution. We're not the only hiking group out here. So find one that's close to you and get outdoors. Some people don't like to hike in groups. So maybe you just want to hike solo or just with 1 or 2 people that you already know. But whatever it is, do this for yourself. Take the time out. It's so important. So if we can get all of us out hiking, the babies, the grandmothers, the grandfathers, the dads, the mom, everybody, auntie, uncle, everybody, bring everybody out.
Everybody.
That's what I want, because the more people that we have that are healed, the more work that can be done in our communities. And we really need the community to get healed. And it starts with us. It starts within. You heal yourself, and then that healing goes without. So that's all I ask. You'll be supporting Hikeolution when you take care of yourself and use the outdoors as a tool to help you heal yourself and your community.
Yes. I mean, that was just a perfect closing. I just want to tell you that this has been food for my soul. I enjoyed every moment of spending this morning with you and having tea with you. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm going to have all the links in the bio so that we know how to find you. If someone is saying, this is bowling up my alley, this is what I'm looking for, I'm in North Jersey, how can I get down with this group? The Hikeolution will not be televised, so I'll make sure that people can easily connect. Is there anything else you want to share with us before we go?
I think I've said a lot. My spirit is full. I just really want to say thank you and express gratitude for this platform. I thank you for reaching out to me and for letting me share a little bit about who I am and what I do. It means a lot to me because you see how passionate I am about sharing my Hikeolution story and about sharing the benefits of nature. So you've really made my morning by just inviting me here. So thank you for the work that you do and for helping the community as well, because we need it. We need all hands on deck.
All hands on deck. That's what we are about. I love your energy. You have a great morning. Until next time, I wish for you, my goal for you is to continue to be brave, be magical, and above all else, be well. Thank you, Keyanna.
Thank you.